Welcome to my channel, where history and mystery intertwine. Tonight, let me take you on a journey to uncover a chilling tale, a story of shadows, secrets, and the unexplainable. Get comfortable, dim the lights, and prepare yourself for the haunting of Blackwood Manor. Our story begins on a cold October evening. Claire Thompson, a young historian with a knack for exploring abandoned places, arrived at the infamous Blackwood Manor. Situated deep in the New England woods, the mansion had been abandoned for decades, whispered about in local legends as a place where the living and the dead collide. Claire wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. To her, Blackwood Manor was just another site to document, a relic of the past that had fallen victim to time and superstition. But as she approached the creaking gates, the air seemed to shift. A sudden chill ran down her spine. She shook it off as the wind, but perhaps it was something more. The door to Blackwood Manor groaned open as Claire pushed it, revealing a grand, dusty hall. Cobwebs draped from the chandeliers like gossamer threads, and the faint smell of decay lingered in the air. She clicked on her flashlight, its beams slicing through the darkness, revealing faded portraits of the Blackwood family. Each face seemed to follow her as she moved deeper into the house. Claire set up her recording equipment in what was once the drawing room. She wanted to capture every detail for her research. But as the evening wore on, strange things began to happen. The floorboards creaked as though someone unseen was pacing. Faint whispers echoed from rooms she hadn't entered, and the temperatures seemed to plummet, despite the roaring fire she'd lit in the old hearth. At around midnight, Claire decided to explore the upper floors. As she ascended the grand staircase, the air grew heavier. In one of the bedrooms, she discovered a diary, its pages yellowed with age. It belonged to Eleanor Blackwood, the youngest daughter of the family, who, according to local lore, had vanished without a trace in 1894. The entry spoke of Eleanor's growing fear of a shadow that watches and voices in the walls. As Claire read the final entry, the door behind her slammed shut. She spun around, her flashlight flickering, and then she saw it. A faint silhouette by the window, staring out into the dark woods. When she called out, the figure turned. Its hollow eyes seemed to pierce through her, and in an instant, it vanished. Shaken but determined, Claire continued her investigation. She discovered a hidden passage behind a bookshelf in the library. The narrow staircase led down to a small, stone-walled room filled with old, rusted chains and a single wooden chair. Carved into the walls were phrases like, "Never safe," and "The shadow knows." It became clear that Eleanor's disappearance wasn't a simple mystery. The Blackwood family had secrets, dark, horrific secrets. As Claire pieced the story together, she realized that Eleanor had been kept in that room, not by a stranger, but by her own family, who believed she was cursed. Just as Claire prepared to leave, the house seemed to come alive. Doors slammed, whispers turned into screams, and an oppressive force seemed to push her back at every turn. She fled, her heart pounding, as shadowy figures emerged from the corners of the manor, their forms twisting and writhing. Finally, she burst through the front door, collapsing on the cold ground outside. When she looked back, the manor was silent once more, its windows dark and uninviting. Claire didn't know if she'd encountered restless spirits or if the manor itself was alive. But one thing was certain, Blackwood Manor was not a place for the living. But Claire's story didn't end there. Days later, back in the safety of her apartment, she reviewed her recordings. Most were static or faint creaks of the old house. But then, in the silence of one clip, a voice whispered her name. It was faint, almost drowned out by the static, but unmistakable. Claire froze. The voice had sounded like Eleanor. Unable to resist, Claire returned to Blackwood Manor weeks later, this time with a team of paranormal investigators. Together, they unearthed more chilling discoveries. Remnants of occult symbols hidden beneath the floorboards, a blood-stained locket belonging to Eleanor, and a trapdoor that led to an underground tunnel. The tunnel, narrow, suffocating, and pitch black, stretched for miles, leading to a cavern filled with remnants of dark rituals. Candles, now extinguished, encircled a large mirror covered in dust and cracks. When one of the investigators cleaned the mirror surface, they claimed to see Eleanor's reflection staring back. She seemed to mouth the words, "Help me," before the mirror shattered, sending the team running for their lives. Claire's footage of the event, though shaky, captured the sound of Eleanor's voice once more, pleading for release. To this day, Claire refuses to talk about what truly happened in Blackwood Manor. The diary she found now sits locked away, its pages too unsettling to revisit. The paranormal investigators refuse to return, and the locals, hearing of the renewed disturbances, avoid the area altogether. And the manor? It still stands, a crumbling monument to its dark history, waiting for its next visitor. The shadow that haunted Eleanor, the shadow that haunted Claire, remains. Maybe it's waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to uncover its secrets. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you've enjoyed this extended tale of history and mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and maybe keep a light on.